As the sun sets over the barren highways of Florida, an eerie silence descends. The story unfolds amidst the darkness, centered around Aileen Wuornos, a woman whose life takes a sinister turn, forever etching her name in the annals of crime. Buckle up as we embark on a journey through the mind of a femme fatale, exploring the chilling depths of her soul. The innocence shattered, Aileen Wuornos, with her troubled past, finds herself living a transient life on the fringes of society. Flashbacks transport us to her traumatic childhood, where we witness the horrors she endured. Aileen's parents, plagued by their own demons, subject her to a life of abuse and neglect. The scars left behind shape her perception of the world, making it seem cold and unforgiving. Desperate to escape the suffocating grip of her past, Aileen embarks on a journey down the open road. The endless stretches of highway become her refuge, a place where she can temporarily forget the pain and find solace in the freedom it offers. She seeks solace in the transient nature of her existence, never truly belonging anywhere but always moving forward. Through her encounters with strangers and the harsh realities of life on the road, Aileen learns to survive by her wits. She becomes street smart, adept at navigating the treacherous terrain that society presents. However, beneath her tough exterior, there remains a vulnerability that serves as a constant reminder of the scars she carries deep within. Love and betrayal. In her search for stability and affection, Aileen meets Ty, a charming and manipulative man who preys on her vulnerability. With promises of love and security, he convinces Aileen that he is her savior. She falls deeply in love, hoping that Ty can provide the stability she has always yearned for. However, the love Aileen seeks quickly transforms into a twisted web of manipulation and betrayal. Ty introduces her to a life of prostitution, exploiting her for financial gain. Bound by a sense of loyalty and desperate to please her lover, Aileen finds herself trapped in a cycle of degradation and despair. As her desperation deepens, Aileen's mind becomes tainted by darkness. The world that once offered solace on the open road now closes in on her, suffocating her dreams of a better life. The seeds of anger and resentment take root within her, gradually pushing her closer to a breaking point. The Devil's Pact. Driven by her traumatic past, Aileen transforms into a femme fatale, a predator on the hunt for those who exploit vulnerable women. Her victims become a symbol of the pain and suffering she endured, and she feels a perverse sense of satisfaction in exacting revenge. Aileen develops a methodical approach, luring unsuspecting men to remote locations where she coldly ends their lives. Each murder becomes a dark ritual, a manifestation of her pent-up rage and a distorted form of justice. Aileen's victims are not mere targets. They represent the demons of her past, the figures who perpetuated her suffering. As the body count rises, fear grips the communities along the highways, while law enforcement agencies struggle to comprehend the mind of this enigmatic and deadly woman. Driven by her traumatic past, Aileen Wuornos transforms into a femme fatale, consumed by a dark desire for revenge against those who exploit vulnerable women. Her crimes become a chilling testament to the depths of her rage and the twisted sense of justice she seeks. With a methodical approach, Aileen lures unsuspecting men to remote locations, often posing as a sex worker. Once alone with her victims, she unleashes her pent-up anger and frustration, ending their lives in a frenzy of violence. Her motives are deeply intertwined with her own traumatic experiences and a distorted sense of retribution. One example of Aileen's crimes is the murder of Richard Mallory, a convicted rapist and known criminal. Aileen perceived Mallory as the embodiment of the men who had violated her in the past. In her mind, killing him was a form of vengeance and a way to protect other women from suffering the same fate. Another victim, David Spears, met his tragic end at the hands of Aileen. She viewed him as representative of the predatory men who had exploited her vulnerability as a sex worker. Aileen's twisted logic led her to believe that by eliminating individuals like Spears, she was cleansing society of its darkest elements. Each murder serves as a release for Eileen, a cathartic act born from the depths of her pain. She sees herself as a vigilant, a warrior fighting against the injustices that have plagued her life. Her crimes become a grim tapestry of her distorted view of justice, each victim a symbol of the trauma she suffered and a sacrifice to her own twisted sense of retribution. The escalating body count sends shockwaves through the communities along the highways of Florida, as fear and paranoia grip the public. Law enforcement agencies struggle to comprehend the mind of this enigmatic and deadly woman, who seems driven by a dark pact with her own demons. As Eileen's reign of terror continues, the motives behind her crimes become entangled with her own search for power and control. The road that was once a symbol of freedom and escape has become a stage for her darkest desires, blurring the lines between victim and predator, leaving a trail of devastation in her wake. The hunt begins. Detective John Michaels, a seasoned investigator, takes charge of the case, determined to bring Aileen Wuornos to justice. As he delves into her background, he uncovers the harrowing details of her traumatic childhood and the cycle of abuse that shaped her. Sympathy mingles with the pursuit of justice as Detective Michaels realizes that Aileen is not solely a cold-blooded killer, but also a victim of a system that failed her. Haunted by her past, Aileen becomes an elusive target, taunting law enforcement as she continues her deadly spree. Each encounter with Detective Michaels brings them closer to understanding the complex layers of her psyche, blurring the lines between hunter and hunted. In the shadows of the highway, the stage is set for a final confrontation, the final showdown. As the final confrontation between Aileen Wuornos and Detective John Michaels looms, redemption and retribution hang in the balance. Aileen finds herself at a crossroads, torn between succumbing to her darkest impulses and seeking a path towards reclaiming her humanity. The outcome of this harrowing journey remains uncertain until the last moment, forcing us to question the true nature of justice and the profound depths to which a person can be driven by their past. Haunted by her traumatic childhood and the scars of her experiences, Aileen's mind becomes a battleground of conflicting emotions. Detective Michaels, having delved into her background, understands the layers of pain and suffering that have shaped her into the remorseless killer she has become. As he pursues her, a spark of empathy flickers within him, recognizing that Aileen is as much a victim of circumstances as she is a perpetrator of heinous crimes. In the shadows of the highway, the final confrontation between Aileen and Detective Michaels takes place. The atmosphere crackles with tension as they face each other, two individuals whose lives have become intertwined through a dark dance of pursuit and evasion. In this pivotal moment, Aileen is confronted with the consequences of her choices and the depths to which her past has driven her. As they lock eyes, time seems to stand still. Aileen's face reveals a complex blend of anguish, rage, and a flicker of longing for a life she could never have. Detective Michaels, too, is conflicted, torn between his duty as a law enforcement officer and the understanding that there is more to Aileen than the monster she has become. In this climactic moment, the true nature of justice is called into question. Is it solely about punishment and retribution, or is there room for redemption and forgiveness? Aileen's journey forces us to confront these profound and uncomfortable questions as we witness the battle for her soul unfold before our eyes. The resolution remains shrouded in ambiguity. The outcome of this final confrontation between Aileen and Detective Michaels is left to the imagination, allowing each viewer to ponder the complexity of human nature and the lingering impact of past trauma. It serves as a haunting reminder that the choices we make and the circumstances that shape us can lead us down dark paths or provide an opportunity for healing and transformation. The Femme Fatale, Aileen Wuornos, and the dark side of the road ultimately leaves us with a lingering sense of unease and contemplation. It serves as a stark reminder of the fine line that separates the victim from the villain and the profound depths to which a person can be driven by their past.